Hey, all right, there we go. We are live. Do a little bit of the chat check here. Make sure everything is working. Looks like it is working on my end. We'll see if it is working on y'all's end. But yeah, so the Trackhouse guys got into a little bit of a scuffle there. Just a disagreement. Uh, I guess they're making a big deal of it because it's like Ross Chastain and Daniel Suarez. But we've seen this over the course of teammates and stuff like that in NASCAR. I don't think it's really that big of a deal, but that was an angle. Um, the penalty report, if everybody's playing the game, that's two ums already. So you're off to a good start. But the penalty reports will not be given out till tomorrow, according to Bob Pockrass. So we won't know if Daniel Suarez is going to get a penalty for the post-race incident with Ross Chastain and, of course, Bowman, where he bumps him in the pits. So we will be looking and waiting for that. Also, NASCAR had a tire test today at Charlotte. I haven't seen any information about that yet, but they did have that tire test. It was closed to the public. So we will have to see what happens. Oh, say cow, not cow. Two ums already. So there you go. I'm gonna I'm gonna make it difficult today. Possibly, it could be a rough day if you're playing the game. But let's jump into the chat, see what's going on, see what you guys want to talk about. Napa Racing fan says, ready for Richmond after Coda Mayhem on Sunday. I'm actually excited for Richmond with the new short track package. Hopefully, it improves the racing. So that will be a fun thing to watch. Hopefully, the tire fall off will be a big deal as well. But if they can save the Richmond race, I think it is going to be a good chance. Of course, Richmond is a Toyota track. So I'm looking at it right now. The best numbers at Richmond in the last 5 races: Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, all 3 Toyotas, all 3 JGR. So not a surprise there that this is a Toyota track. So we'll see what happens over there at Richmond. Hopefully it'll be a nice, good race, and they have fixed the short track package. Dennis Gillespie says, Bubba said he needs to be replaced, but okay, Bologna Burger. I think about it in terms of McDonald's will have a new item on the menu. Could they make the McBologna? I love you, brother. As always, you got my vote. Yeah, so little over dramatic from Bubba Wallace. He made a mistake, way too down on himself, and that comment, in my opinion, was a little over dramatic. But some people are hard on themselves, so his thoughts and whatever we're at with that particular deal. Napa Racing fan says, big news tomorrow. We'll find out the results of the HMS and colleague appeals, as well as possibly the penalty for Suarez. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be a big day as far as that type of stuff goes, because like we said, the HMS penalty report, whether they get it reduced, whether it gets upheld, and of course, whether or not it gets completely thrown out, I don't know what's going to happen there, but we're going to find out tomorrow. And of course, the Suarez penalties and things like that, we're going to find that out tomorrow as well. Napa Racing fan said, and after the checker flag, did I miss one? Yeah. And on the pit road incident after the checkered flag, I got you. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. I'm expecting probably just a fine for Suarez, because I think when Ty Gibbs did it, he just got a fine as well. So I'm just expecting a fine on that one. Mark Martin fan for life. Good evening. I hope you're doing good. At least I got a notification for the night stream, unlike the other day. So yeah, I don't know why sometimes notifications go out, why sometimes they don't. But I'm glad it went out today. Gibbs got a 25-point and a $50,000 for contact on pit road. That was for one incident. Suarez should be double because it was 2 separate cars. Hey, there you go. That's a fair point. I didn't think about that one. So 2 different incidents there. So it was a 25-point penalty. So didn't he get that reduced, though? I thought he got that reduced. The 25 points got taken away maybe on appeal. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's a good point. So I guess if it was 25 points, it would be what, 50 points, and then 50K? Yeah, so 50K. Let's see. Bar Martin fan, chat check's good. Gotcha. Shy, what's up, man? Say Kyle, not Cal, 2 ums already. So there you go. Oh yeah, I just read that one. But I said it again. So there you go. There you go. Kurt Busch will likely be the only driver in the NASCAR in NASCAR history to win a Cup race in a Chevy, Ford, Dodge, and Toyota, says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, it's going to be hard for somebody. First off, a driver that wins is probably not going to get bounced around quite as much as Kurt Busch got bounced around. And you're probably not going to see them go to all those makes. So that's the first thing. It's going to be hard for that to happen, period. So yeah, he might be the only guy that finishes up like that. Chrome Diesel says, "What's up? What's up, Chrome Diesel? I hope you're doing good today." Cassandra Keller, hope you're doing good as well. Hi from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. What's up, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho? Briscoe bumped Ross into Bowman, who in turn hit Suarez. Nobody mad at Briscoe. That's pretty lame. Ross gets picked on because he's a pretty easy target. Says Shy, yeah. So the funny thing about that is Chase Briscoe drives the exact same way as Ross Chastain. You never hear Chase Briscoe get talked about the way you hear Ross Chastain get talked about. For whatever reason, the media has honed in on Ross Chastain. He's more polarizing, but Chase Briscoe more or less drives the exact same way, in my opinion. Will Richmond be a race of pit strategy, fuel mileage, or tire management, says Timber Ace? If they have tire fall off like they're saying they're going to have tire fall off, it might be a tire fall off race. I don't see it being fuel mileage or anything like that, just because we're going to have the cautions or the cautions for the stage breaks in that one. Dakota Henderson says Richmond's going to keep up its tradition of not putting on a good race 30 years strong. I don't know. It's not quite been 30 years, but yeah, back in the day, it was actually a really good race. I'd say 20 years. Harvick and Ricky Rudd, they had some battles there. I would say after about maybe 2006, 2008, somewhere in there, it just really fell off. When they stopped putting sealer on it or whatever, I think that's when it fell off. So that's basically what I would say when Richmond started. So at least, close to, 15 or 20 years, it has not put on the best race. Hopefully this new package will save that, but we'll have to see. I think with the shifting and all that, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard one way or the other. Mark Barnum, what's up, man? Mark Barnum out here playing goalie. We appreciate you, buddy. I see Kyle and I wish Bubba would get over his constant pity party. I drive that car for $50K a year and health insurance. Talk about first world problems. Man up. Says say Kyle and I. So yeah, whenever athletes sort of have pity parties for themselves or complain about things about their particular job, in this case, it typically never goes over well with most of the fans, because it's a job that most people would do for free, right? So it's just one of those deals. I don't know. Him having the pity party for basically making a mistake and wrecking himself. I just didn't see that going over well. But it is what it is. He's gonna get a big reaction either way, just because he's Bubba Wallace. So at the end of the day, not a big deal. But I thought it was pretty funny that he had a pity party for himself. Napa Racing Fan says, whether you like or hate or neutral on Bubba, we all admit he can be a drama queen at times. Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt about it. He's got a huge personality. He's definitely driving for the right team. There's no doubt about that. He fits in with 2311. There's no doubt about it. Blaney is having a bad run of luck this season, says one wise guy. Yeah, so Ryan Blaney's got to be up there with Kyle Larson for bad luck this season. That is a fair assessment. He's had really good race cars, and then he's just not had the finishes for it. Same with Kyle Larson. So at the end of the day, they're sort of in the same boat. Kyle Larson has been able to manage some better finishes than he has, but not a terrible amount more. But I don't know. But yeah, he's definitely off to a slow start, but has had some fast cars. I still expect him to win a race. Same thing with Tyler Reddick. When Tyler Reddick got off to that slow start, I still expect Ryan Blaney to win races and make the playoffs. Same with Kyle Larson, even though he's got the massive points penalty right now. I expect both of them guys to make the playoffs, though. Cassandra Keller says, I got a notification. So good. The notifications work today. And also hi to Mark. Mark Barnum says, Joey Logano is going to be fifth truck for Thor Sport at Bristol. That's pretty cool, because he did. I think he won this the last time he drove the trucks. So, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, didn't Joey Logano win the Bristol Dirt and the trucks? I think, or was that Martin Truex? I don't know. Might have been Martin Truex. But yeah, either way, you can get around that place on dirt, because he's won the Cup race in dirt. So, yeah, and he's driving a good truck, Thor Sport truck, Bristol. I look for him and Haley Deegan both to be good, and, of course, all the other Thor Sport drivers as well. Thor Sport, nothing to sneeze at this season. Definitely a good team. And they're a good team every year. So good move by Ford to get over there and grab Thorsport. We need a clean finish after Circuit of the Americas turned into the Circus of Americas. I like it, Sky Talent. Man, I need you to write my thumbnails for me. I should have put Circus of the Americas last year when that happened. Good point. Good point there. I like it. Oops, forgot to give the thumbs up. Fixed it, says Shy. Appreciate the thumbs up. If you all would like to give the thumbs up, that would be much appreciated as well. Psychotic House says, I am multitasking tonight, BB. Got you on the phone and my beloved Orlando Magic on TV, so I don't have to choose who I'm watching tonight. Oh, yeah, that's a good time. You got Banchero on there, so I'm with you. I'm rolling with you on the Magic as far as that goes. Damon Cuss, Bacon A. What's up, Damon? Trying to manage starts in fantasy, BB. You think you could save a start with Byron this week, or you feel like he's got to be played since he almost won in fuel strategy last year? Oh, no. You can save a start with Byron if you want to. There's tons of people. So there you go. There's a verbalized pause. So that counts. Consume. Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick could be one if you're going with the A-tier guy that you need to slide in there. Kevin Harvick's always traditionally been good at this track. Alex Bowman, basically all your Hendrick cars and all of your Joe Gibbs racing cars are good here. Clint Boyer, obviously not in the race. Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Eric Almirola, and William Byron. William Byron's only 15th average finish here. And if you want to go with laps led, because typically that's a pretty good predictor, you got Ross Chastain with 84, 122 for Byron, 129 for Blaney, 217 for Keselowski, 19 Larson, 56 Dillon, 10 for Bowman, 96 for Harvick, 45 for Kyle Busch, 61 for Chase Elliott, who's not racing, 317 for Joey Logano. So Joey Logano might not be a bad one to slide in there unless you're saving him. Christopher Bell, 73, 476 for Hamlin, and 267 for Truex. So Hamlin and Truex, if you're looking for an A tier, that would probably be your best picks for A tier to slide him in there. Let's see here. Shaw says, one wise guy, I feel like Blaney is just continuing last year's bad luck. Yeah, he had bad luck last year too, so he could be just one of those guys that snake bit. Is he this generation's version of Neil Bonnet, a really good driver who just has a lot of bad luck? We don't know yet. Napa Racing fan, Richmond should return to a night race. I do wish if they're going to run 2 races at Richmond, I wish they all would be both night races. Robin Mark says, Captain Canuck checking in. Howdy, Kyle. Howdy, y'all. What's up, Robin? What's up, Canada? T-Van says, what's up, BB? I swear I seen a garden gnome yesterday at Walmart that looks like you. Well, that's a good-looking garden gnome. That's all I can tell you, T-Van. But that's cool. Cassandra Keller, Bubba needs to get out of his head. Big ego, sick of it, says Cassandra Keller. So, yeah, that didn't play well with a lot of people. A lot of people didn't like the what they were calling a pity party that he threw for himself. It was just over the top dramatic to me. I was like, dude, you just made a mistake. But Kurt Busch said that's how he is. He's always like super hard on himself. So hey, that's just how some people are set up. It is what it is. He's not the only driver that is like that. He just might be the only driver that actually says it out loud. Cassandra Keller says, hi, Robin. Joe Bob Purdue, love the thumbnail. Robin, Narf. Oh, there you go. Narf, pinky in the brain. Let's see. Mark Barnum, Bubba needs to talk to a sports med person. That might actually be something that he could do to help him. I know when Jimmy Johnson was winning all those titles, he actually had a sports psychologist that he was working with as well. So it has been proven, at least for 7 championships, that it's a pretty good idea to at least have a sports psychologist. Shaw says 2311 will change its name to Total Drama Racing next year. I don't know about that. He'll rein it in at some point. Screw Toyota, says Roush number 1. So yeah, a lot of people dislike Toyota anyway. Dakota Henderson says, could Blaney benefit from a change of scenery? I think he needs a change of scenery. I think, and this is nothing against Penske, I just think he happens to be the odd man out there. Austin Cindric is the new kid on the rise. Joey Logano is the veteran. I feel like Ryan Blaney has sort of fallen into middle child territory, and I think a change of scenery might just help him out. You never know when a change of scenery will help out a driver. So I do think that a change of scenery would help Blaney. But that being said, where do you go? If you go to Stewart-Haas and you can get Kevin Harvick's crew chief Rodney Childers, I think that's the best case scenario if you wanted to change scenery. But like I said, I don't know the full details of his contract and stuff like that. I think he's been signed for a while. Maybe he slides over there and gets Eric Almirola's spot. But anything could happen with him. Stewart-Haas, of course, will be looking to get a bunch of drivers here in the next, or at least 2 drivers, I should say, not a bunch. One Xfinity at Bristol, I think, says Mark Barnum. It might have been Xfinity. Michael Honeychuck, talking about Joey Logano, sorry. What's up, BB? What's up, Michael Honeychuck? Joe Purdue says, I love that hat. Head for the mountains of Bush. Beer. Yeah, that's a good commercial. Kevin Harvick farewell tour, so I'm going to have to throw up a few Busch Light hats, a few Kevin Harvick hats that I've got in the collection here for this season. I like seeing Suarez fired up, says one wise guy, and says he's a Toyota fan as well. So there you go. Yeah, I like Daniel Suarez showing that he doesn't like being pushed around. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it'll be as big a deal as the media is making it out to be. I'm sure they'll be fine. I mean, it's just 2 guys going for real estate. It was literally right after the race when you're the most emotionally irritated and drained and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure by the Monday morning meeting, it wasn't even a big deal. But, the media's got to play it up and because that's what they do. They got to sell commercials and stuff like that. So I don't blame them. And then, of course, whenever you're arguing on pit road and hitting cars, especially teammates after the race, it's going to get played up by the media. Napa fan says my fantasy lineup, Hamlin, Truex, Bell, Busch, and Harvick. I like it. Busch is 6th average finish. Harvick is 7th average finish, and Hamlin and Truex are 1 and 2. So I would stick with that lineup. That's a solid lineup. Not a problem at all. That one looks good. Roush number 1 says, sorry to hear that. I guess I don't know. Maybe talking about somebody being a Toyota fan. I don't know. Let's see. Random. Just wanted to watch a SRX race the other night. So much more entertaining than Cup right now. Pure short track racing, says Damon Cuz. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are really gravitating toward the SRX. They like what they're doing, and it seems to be gaining a lot of momentum, gaining a lot of steam. So that's a pretty cool deal. Almirola has been decent at Richmond, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, Almirola is definitely good at Richmond. Average finish of 11.4 and 14th best in the Cup Series, really 13th. Actually really 12th because Clint Bowyer, or in the last 5 races, I should say, because Clint Bowyer and Chase Elliott won't be racing in this one. Chase Elliott used to throw pity parties as well, says Robert Stone. That's a very good point. Chase Elliott used to do the exact same thing, and that group of people, that group of guys, him, Ryan Blaney, and Bubba Wallace all hang out with each other, and they've all done very similar things. So it might just be something that group of guys does. It could be an inside troll that group of guys does too, but I doubt it because it looked pretty genuine that Bubba Wallace when he was having that reaction after that as well. But yeah, good point, Robert Stone. Chase Elliott did used to do the exact same thing. Mark Barnum says, hey, Roofer. Hey, what's up, stupid Roofer as well. Napa Racing fan. Chase Elliott has been super hard on himself, especially 2016 and 2017 when he couldn't win. He never said I should be replaced, though. He says Napa Racing fan. So there you go. Yeah, that's something as a driver. You never really want to challenge that. You never want to test fate with that one. But yeah, that's he did. So here we are. Stephen D'Amelio Jr. says, just think of the world as thinking, what a sorry blank. What about a sponsor? I don't know. I don't know specifically what you're talking about there. Maybe what sponsors are thinking about Bubba Wallace's comments after accidentally wrecking. I don't know. But I think he's going to be good. If that's what you're talking about, I think he'll be good sponsor-wise. He seems to be fine as far as sponsors go. Let's see. I say Kyle, not Cal. I don't know if anyone watched Frasier back in the day. But the episode where the basketball player makes his makes his brother be a sports psychologist is hysterical. I don't remember that episode, but I do remember Frasier. That was a pretty funny TV show. It was a spinoff or a continuation of Cheers, which was a big hit back in the day, back in the 80s, I guess, maybe late 90s, early 90s. And then Frasier was all 90s, just about, if I'm not mistaken. I think Blaney was signed for 2 more years, says Michael Honeychuck. So Blaney would be more lined up to go into the 10 car if that is accurate. It sounded, I think he had a multi-year deal, so 2 years sounds right. So he would be more slated to go into the 10 car. So I don't know if that's as good a move. Just depends on who your crew chief is over there. Do you believe in Drew Blickensderfer? I don't know. Roush number 1, and technically he could take his crew chief with him, but not many people leave Penske. So I don't know. Roush number 1 says, now we're seeing that Matty D was not the problem with the Wood Brothers racing. Burton is not doing close to as well as Matty did. I mean, that's a fair critique. Definitely Harrison Burton might have moved up too early. But the way Matt DiBenedetto went out there, it sort of closes the door, in my opinion, for him to come back to that team at least. So what do you do? What do you do with that? Like if he just hadn't gone, he had one basically, I guess, Instagram live where he just went scorched earth. I tried to take it back, but it was just a bad look. So hopefully he learned from that. But he's definitely not coming back to the Wood Brothers, in my opinion, at any point. Shaw says, "Dang, listen to Radioactive. Harvick lost it on his crew chief." I mean, Harvick's a fiery dude. It can happen from time to time. And Rodney Childers is super laid back, so I'm sure he knows how to handle that. But yeah, every once in a while, old Harvick will lose his stuff in there. Not as often as he was when he was younger, but every once in a while, you'll see him just go. He'll go scorched earth, I guess you should say. Wished they would move the restart zone road courses back a few corners to avoid disasters like we usually see at COTA. Turn 1. First pick for Richmond is Eric Almirola, says Matt Hunter. Yeah, so Almirola could definitely get it done. He's super good here. Like I said, average finish of 11.4. That's nothing to slouch at. Actually tied, funny enough, tied with Ryan Blaney. Both of them 11.4. We were just talking about Blaney a minute ago. Blaney could be a third Roush car, says Dakota Henderson. There you go. That's something that could definitely happen. Roush would have to find, obviously, a extra charter or something like that. But, yeah, I think Brad Keselowski would definitely be interested in getting him over there. I can't stand Penske, so I would like to change the scenery so I can root for Byron's girlfriend's brother. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny for sure. Old Willie B getting it done on and off the track. Mark Barnum says, I got Harvick's Bud hat. I've got a couple of those as well. I've actually got, well, I think I gave them away to charity, but I had a ton of the Goodwrench ones back in the day. Aaron Flynn, was it the three-tire debris or the one stopped on the track for the late race caution? And your thoughts on that? If it's a tire carcass, if the actual full carcass, which is what I think happened, came off, that's not a problem. The one car stopping on the track, that's been argued for years and years. Should a car that stops on the track automatically get a 1-lap penalty if they stop on track and have to be removed? I think that's a fair way to do it because you can never really judge intent on those situations like that. So, yeah, that's there's definitely two ways to look at that. But I think if you just give if a car stops on the track, you give them a 1 or 2 lap penalty, that'll stop anybody from using it as a tactic to get the caution, especially at road courses where the course is so long. Sky Talent, have you heard Elton Sawyer said regarding the lack of respect in NASCAR? It was eye-opening, to say the least. Sky Talent, I think I saw the Cliff Notes version of it where he was basically defending it, saying that it's always been like that. Basically saying that the end of the race wasn't too rowdy or anything like that. So if I remember correctly, and if that is the proper context, then I disagree with him there. I think the end of that race was ridiculous. They turned it into a demolition derby, and they made it look like the clown show that Talladega Nights portrayed NASCAR to be. So I disagree with his comments as far as that goes. If I'm remembering what was said correctly, like I said, I think that's what he said, and if that's what he said, I disagree with him. But like I said, I might be remembering what he said wrong because it's been a long day. I started at 4:30 this morning, which is super early for me. About an hour and a half early, or about an hour early than I normally wake up. Damon says Bubba isn't having a pity party. He has classic bipolar depression symptoms. Rage is one of NASCAR. Rage is one. That's NASCAR's liability in 2311. He's not stable or close to it in a race car at the Cup level, says Damon. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a, I guess, psychologist, psychiatrist. I can't really judge stuff like that. But he definitely has a short temper. I can tell you that. That's a fact. So hopefully he can get past that and get whatever help he needs as far as that goes. Because we've definitely seen him just lose his stuff more than once, and this goes all the way back to when he was racing late models. So hopefully he gets that under control at some point. Kenny Wallace has reached out to Bubba. I'm not a Bubba fan, but I think Kenny Wallace will be a great life coach for him. Herman had to live in Rusty Shadow, had to live in Rusty Shadow, and he was a great spokesperson, says T-Van. Yeah, so that's cool, and that's the great thing about race car drivers and the racing community. Whenever we see somebody that needs help, somebody always reaches out to them and tries to give them that help. So that would be a pretty cool deal, and hopefully Kenny Wallace he takes him up on that, or takes up somebody. I'm sure he's already seeing somebody about this stuff and things like that. He has admitted before that he's got depression, so I'm sure he's getting help for that as well. So, but it's one of those things that's never going to go away. So he just he I guess had a symptom of that or whatever. So I'm not going to pick on anybody for that, but definitely it was dramatic to say the least, right? But I don't want to pick on him. Let's see. Bubba should try William Tyre. I'm not going to read that one. Let's see here. T-Van says, I like Kenny Wallace. Shows the guy is a wild man. Yeah, no doubt about it. Kenny Wallace he's wide open. I saw the thumbnail maybe for it, but I haven't seen the video. But it's cool that he reached out. T-Van, I just read that one. Shaw says Bubba just needs a good shrink. Yeah, I think that would help. A sports psychologist would definitely help, and I'm sure he's getting help for the depression that he's already admitted that he has. William Tyre, Kenny is awesome. Yeah, Kenny's a good dude. Bubba's confidence is shot, says Shaw. Yeah, which is odd because he has run recently better than he's ever run in his last year, especially. Last year was his best year, I think, statistically of all time, and to see his confidence just where it's at right now. Is surprising. So, like I said, it needs a sports psychologist for sure. By the way, not a Bubba Wallace fan, says Shah. Yeah, for sure. Another guy that used a sports psychologist to great effect was a UFC fighter named Chael Sonnen. He was a totally different fighter after he got a sports psychologist. He invented this persona to sort of hype himself up. So I always think a sports psychologist is a good idea for a lot of guys, to be totally honest. Let's see. Stupid Roofer, heck yeah, Herm is good people. I don't always agree with his takes. 90% of the time, though, he is right, says Stupid Roofer. Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty funny dude. There's no doubt about it. But he does try to keep it as honest as possible over there. So yeah, it is cool that he's got a YouTube channel and that he's also as active on it as he is. Great channel, Kenny Wallace's channel. If you're not following it, the Herminator. I don't know what the channel is actually named. I think it's just Kenny Wallace. Napa Racing Fan. 927 says, will this be the last year of Bristol Dirt? It costs too much money for it to last forever. I still think they should have tried Eldora. Eldora had some fantastic truck races. I do like the fact that they have a dirt race. I don't know that Bristol is necessarily going to continue to stay on the schedule, just because if they had the World of Outlaws helping them previously, but now it's just the NASCAR series that are running on it, so they're not splitting that cost, so it's become even more cost prohibitive. But if NASCAR wants to keep doing it, they'll keep doing it. They've got deep pockets, but I would like to see it go to Eldora, go to an actual race on dirt where they know how to prep the track and stuff like that. And Bristol's gotten better and better every single season. I'm not taking anything away from Bristol and the staff there, but I would like to see it go to Eldora or some a real actual dirt track, because that's what dirt fans want to see. Jeff Henson says, Baloney, what's up, Jeff Henson? Man, you're cool as heck, says Jeff Henson. I appreciate it, dude. You're cool as well, Jeff. Stephen Roofer saying hi to Cassandra. Mark Barnum says Coda and Indy need to be single file restart with 10 to go, and start finish needs to be moved close to turn one so they can't get four wide. Yeah, we've seen them move the start finish line at certain tracks where going into the next turn is problematic or something like that. So yeah, that would definitely help out without a doubt. that's definitely something they could do. Some other things they could do is add a virtual caution car where the pace car doesn't actually have to come out. And they could have local yellows. Like if there's just an accident in one turn, just have a local yellow there. That's done at just about every single road course race you'll go to outside of NASCAR. Shaw says, I could seriously see Stewart Haas Racing selling the team at this point. Haas never was that great, and Tony seems irritated by NASCAR governors and wants to drag race. I mean, it's anybody's guess, but he seems reinvigorated by the NASCAR side of things, at least to begin with. If this was the end of last year, I would agree with you, but he seems more invigorated by it, at least when he was on air talking about Cup Series racing than previous years past. So we'll have to see what happens there. Seems very happy that he's gotten Ryan Preece as well. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But I wouldn't be surprised either way. It could go either way. It's Tony Stewart. He might wake up tomorrow and decide he wants to sell it. So it's that's just the way he operates. He doesn't waste a lot of time doing anything. Napa Racing Fan says single file wouldn't do anything. They'd still spread 5 or 6 wide on the final restarts. Yes, that's a fair point. But moving the start-finish line, like I said, would also help. And also, you wouldn't need a full course caution, so you wouldn't need all those cautions anyway. You could have a virtual pace car come out, so that would also help that as well until the other cars were moved off track. So or the dirt was swept off the track. You could have a local yellow or something like that. Stephen Emilio Jr. says, I don't think it's fair to bash Burton. Remember, it's a totally different car. Not even Matty D drove this car. Speaking of him. He can't even win a truck race. So that's a fair point. Matty D's done a lot better with that team since he's gotten there. He's not exactly with he didn't step into a powerhouse truck team, so I'll stick up for him there. But, yeah, that's a fair point. Matt DiBenedetto drove a totally different car than this car here. So the Wood brothers have shown zero speed with the Gen 7 car. So it's not exactly apples to apples. That's a fair point as well. And we're not bashing Burton. We're just saying he might have moved up too early. I guess technically we're bashing the Wood brothers because they haven't produced. Roscoe said, who was bashing Burton? I don't think anybody's bashing him. But I understand what you're saying. It's not exactly apples to apples. That's a fair point for sure. Jeff Henson, I love the NASCAR Live. Appreciate it, Jeff Henson. I wish they could ditch the composite bodies, soften the cars up for impacts, and make the drivers take more care of the car. Wouldn't have seen that cluster this week if fenders folded up? That's a good point, say Kyle Nycalsa. That's one of the problems. The good thing with the composite body is at circle tracks, you can touch the wall and it doesn't cut a tire down. The bad thing is you can ram the crap out of other cars and it really doesn't affect your car at all. So it gives and it takes away, right? There's always a balance when you go to a different thing. So, yeah, that is a very fair point. That is definitely one of the things that is added to the more aggressive driving as well. I would agree with that. I would say the point system is one thing. The win and get in to the playoffs is another thing. The unlimited green-white checkers and definitely the body. All 4 of those things have increased the level of aggressiveness with these Cup Series drivers. If not, move the restart closer to the corner, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, that's another way of going about it too. Yeah, either way you want to move it, so they don't just kamikaze turn one basically. Jeff Henson, LOL. Sky Talent, Napa Racing Fan. What would stop is repercussions, but NASCAR seems to want wrecking and not racing, says Sky Talent. Yeah, so there's rules for over-aggressive driving in the rule book. They're just choosing not to enforce them. That's the fair point as well. Slap Shoes on Twitter tweeted something basically to that effect today, and I retweeted it because I completely agreed. I like it when they lose it. LOL, says Jeff Henson. So there, some people, like I said, some people do like the smash, bang them up finishes and stuff like that. I agree with repercussions that should be handed out. Single file restarts wouldn't do anything in my opinion. Maybe not at a road course. But it would help. It would help, especially in the middle of the pack, I think. It might not help at the front. The front, you're still going to get that deal probably from 6th back, but it would help in the middle of the pack, in my opinion, I think. Because the single file car could take the best line and the best angle, or just take the lowest line and the lowest angle and force everybody else to the outside. Of course, they could just get rear-ended, which is probably what would happen. Let's see here. Jeff Henson, baloney all day. Can we get the 8 poster? LOL. Can we get the 8 as a poster? Oh, you're talking about the flags back there? Yeah, if I run across the 8, I might find one and I can throw it up. I need to change this up a little bit anyway. Let's see here. And there's another studio coming too, so I might have room for it in a different studio I'm going to. When NASCAR started today, that was stated today, that was seen on Sunday as part of the aggressiveness DNA of the past 74 years. I call it BS. This is more like recklessness and not aggressiveness, says Chrome Diesel. That's the quote from Elton Sawyer that I'm disagreeing with. I think, or at least that's the one I saw, and I attributed to Elton Sawyer that I disagree with. Yeah, I agree with you. The end of that race wasn't aggressiveness. It was video game NASCAR. That's what that was. It's basically the unlimited green white checkers and the composite bodies are giving guys incentive to just drive through people with no repercussions. It actually the unlimited green white checkers benefits the guys further back in the pack than it doesn't benefit the leader, and it should always benefit the leader, because if you're the leader, you should have benefits of getting that lead on a caution, in my opinion. Jeff Henson says 8 LOL. Captain Boofy in the chat. Ralph Bond saying Jeff Kenny. William Wagaman says Blunderberger, did they put up? They did put up the rubber walls at North Wilkesboro. If they did not, look out. Yeah, they've got the safer barriers over there. They put them up. Mark Barnum says, lick that like button. I appreciate it. If you would like to hit that like button, it would be much appreciated. Jeff Henson says, good dude. LOL. I appreciate it. Robin Marks, I'm not a shrink, but I think Kenny Wallace has ADHD. I have it, so I'm not being a jerk. He sure is hyperactive and likes speed. That definitely could be what's going on with Kenny Wallace. There's no doubt about that. It could be the 5-hour energy that he took over multiple years of his life as well. Stupid Roofer posting Kenny Wallace's channel on there. So if you see Stupid Roofer's comment, that is Kenny Wallace's channel. You can sub to his channel. Great channel if you're not already following it. Napa Racing Fan says, here's a few ideas for the top series. Replace Richmond date for Iowa. I like it. Replace Auto Club for Rockingham. In the meantime, at least, yeah, I agree with that. If Auto Club comes back with a short track, I think Auto Club should be put back on the schedule. Replace one of the Texas dates for North Wilkesboro, and maybe the first Darlington date for Milwaukee. Yeah, that's fair. I think all these tracks most of these tracks should only have one date. I don't know if I would take one away from Darlington. Maybe take one away from another track. I do like Darlington having 2 dates, but that's just me. But yeah, all these tracks only having one date would definitely make all of them sell out, or at least give them a better chance to sell out. I agree with that. Robert Stone, the reason no track has a start-finish line going into a turn is because the drivers wouldn't lift until it was too late, because they didn't want to lift before the start-finish line. Yeah, so there you go. Jeff Henson, the 99's mad. Yeah, so he was not happy. We're going to find out tomorrow if he's getting a race suspension for that, or if it's just going to be a fine and some points maybe. So we'll see what happens with that. That's going to come out tomorrow, according to Bob Pockris. Also, we're going to get the Hendrick fine tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be a big day as far as that type of stuff goes. Jeff Henson, Tony smashing the little ones. Let's see. Napa Racing Fan. Stewart Haas Racing is in a terrible spot right now. Replacing Harvick and Amarola with Custer and Earps is not the answer. I think they'll go get a big free agent. I don't think they'll replace him with anybody that's in the actual pipeline. It's usually hard to disagree with Junior, but Denny had a good take on single wide restarts, dropping the Bristol dirt reference. I can't believe NASCAR passed up a chance to NASCAR, says Tim Brace. Hey, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I don't know if the single file restarts would help, but we could definitely try it, right? NASCAR's tried everything else, but they won't. They want to see the double file. NASCAR likes the drama right now, so they're not going to do anything about it. As you saw from their comments about that's just part of the racing culture from the other day, from today, I should say. A Napa Racing Fan says Custer and Herbst have funding. That doesn't mean they are the best available options for the 4 and the 10. I mean, yeah, that's a fair point, and you can throw Brandon Jones into that mix as well. He's another guy that's got funding that could slide in there. Josh Berry is another good pick. They could go if they wanted to go full-on rookie. Sammy Smith is a guy that brings funding. He's also a good pick, so it's all kinds of stuff. Sounds Like a good format for the All-Star race. The track is the star. Your thoughts on that? Aaron Flynn? Yeah, I like the All-Star race the way they've got it set up this year. People are going to gripe about the traffic and stuff like that and the price of the tickets, but I do like the track they're going to and the way they're promoting it. I agree with that. And I would like to see it rotated. I wouldn't like to see it at North Wilkesboro every single year. I want to see North Wilkesboro get a cup date. So I would like to see the All-Star race rotated around to various tracks so that every city gets, or at least every city that has a NASCAR track gets a chance to have an All-Star race. Kind of like every other major sport does. At least every stick and ball sport that NASCAR is copying right now. Duke Chronic says, did Suarez get a race suspension yet? I'd be guessing one race minimum. So I don't know if he's going to get one race because when Ty Gibbs did it last year, he just got a monetary and a points penalty. So I don't know if Suarez is actually going to miss one race. Gen 7, I'm indestructible. Toe link, haha, says say Kyle Nakal. Yeah, that's a fair point. The cars are indestructible. The suspension is made out of Legos. So the suspension is definitely not indestructible. Escobar says if they make those cars more delicate instead of the tanks, drivers will be more careful. Yeah, so if they made everything as delicate as the toe link, these guys would stop ramming into each other. That's a good fair point. Mark Barnum says I don't see Custer going back to Cup for a couple years. He's off to a slow start, so it sounds crazy right now. But if he reels off a few wins, he gets right back into that conversation, right into that mix. Aaron Flynn says a lot of racing all week. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy week. T-Van, I've been to Eldora. I've been to Asphalt Bristol. Give me dirt on Eldora. Plus, it's closer to my house. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel like that as well. Shaw says, beating, bumping, and bashing is racing, NASCAR style, and while I love it, keep the tough cars. So, yeah, like I said, you're going to, within reason, LOL, says Shaw. Yeah, so, and that's the part where we're talking about where NASCAR can actually enforce the rough driving when it just gets completely out of control and crazy. So there is a balance to be had there. But you have a good point. Beating and banging has always been part of NASCAR as well. Drive smart with a tough car. James Burmeister says, every single race, Blaney gets screwed either by his pit crew or driving too nice. Give your 2 cents on that and what needs to change for him to get to victory lane. He's got to stick up for himself. He does get run over a lot. I agree with that. So he definitely needs to stick up for himself and stop just taking it to his radio and actually take his front bumper and put it to somebody's tail that has run over him. That's the first thing he's going to need to do. And the bad luck, if he just sticks with it, the bad luck will eventually switch to good luck, right? So I think that's just one of those deals where he's got to A, stick up for himself, and B, you've just got to drive through the bad luck. We've seen a lot of guys have bad luck and drive through it. Kevin Harvick went He went from winning 9 races to almost 2 years of not winning, and now he's back to being Kevin Harvick. So sometimes you just got to race through the bad luck. But you definitely have to stick up for yourself. You can't let guys push you around. Brick for Brick says, give me the old point system, single file restarts, and lap down cars on the inside and get rid of the lucky dog. Go old school with it, says Brick for Bricks. That's what I grew up watching. I never had a problem with any of that. I never understood why we had to change any of that because all people legitimately wanted was for races to count for more points. That was the only actual critique of that back in the day. As far as I remember, I mean, I wasn't super old when that was going on, but I never had a problem with it myself. Shaw says we need to remember this is 1.2 years with the new car. Drivers are still adjusting. Got to push the limits, then pull it back just a little bit. I mean, that's a fair point too. This car does need to be given a fair run because we had that other car for a very long period of time, and they worked out the kinks with that one as well. If you remember when the car tomorrow originally came in, and then they massaged it and smoothed it until basically what we had there at the end of that. Next road course for Cup is Sonoma. NASCAR has time to work things out. The only places with restart issues, though, are COTA and the Indy Road Course. That's true story. Jeff Henson says, no chat. Baloney is the best. I appreciate that, Jeff Henson. T-Van says, the way COTA went, anyone want to gamble on how many cautions the Beat Juice 400 has in Chicago? There's no telling. That's going to be just a whole different animal over there. A street race. We've never seen what this car can do on a street course. Street courses are notoriously narrow. First things first, we got to keep all the cars off the track. There was at least 1 or 2 cars that kept bottoming out too much. and we're getting on those, spacers or whatever to keep them from tearing up the underbody. So hopefully all the cars are at the right ride height. So that would be the first thing I would look for over there. Jeff Henson, Baloney, what's up, Jeff Henson? Duke Chronic says the last few road course races were cool until the last 5 to go. Then they make it a joke. Yeah, so that's another thing. If we could avoid cautions on road courses at the very end, I think that would help a lot with the finishes, because we were about to get a crazy good finish. Who was going to run out of gas? Who was going to have enough gas to go to the finish? We were, in some sense, robbed of that when they threw the caution for too much dirt being in the corner, which is a deal that could have been helped. You could have fixed that with a localized caution in that corner until it was cleaned up, or you could have done a virtual safety car if NASCAR goes to that at some point, and you could have cleaned it up without basically having to bunch up the field like you would for an actual caution with the pace car and stuff like that. Robert Stone says Stuart Haas has screwed up letting Kurt Busch go. Kurt Busch's superpower is wherever he goes, the cars get better. That's a fact. Like that's been Kurt Busch's MO. The Cup Series needs to run IRP. Yeah, I would love to see the Cup cars go to IRP. I think a lot of people are on board with that. Chrome Diesel, that was no racing culture. That is the culture of entertainment first that we are in right now, says Chrome Diesel. That's a fair point, I think. Drive it into Tony, says Jeff Henson. William Wagman, how can you answer all the questions? And Dale Jr. download at 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning, which comes on at 10:15. Only answers nothing but Twitter answers. I don't know. Probably because he doesn't do his live first off, so that's part of the reason they use Twitter questions. So he doesn't go live with his. But the other thing is, if he did go live, he would have so many people watching his deal that he wouldn't be able to answer all the questions anyway. He's just like, I will stick up for him as far as that goes. Will North Wilkesboro get All-Star race next year, or will they make a push for Nashville Fairgrounds to get it? Oh, that's a good question. I do think Nashville Fairgrounds is probably going to be the All-Star race, and I think North Wilkesboro is going to slot in to where California's race was. And then when they get California built, they will have a decision to make on their hands. That's just my thoughts on that particular process. Of course, the full Nashville deal is not completely settled yet, so it is contingent on it going all the way through the Tennessee legislature. Where's the race this Sunday, says Doc? It is at Richmond International Speedway. Your 3 top drivers statistically are Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. So it's looking like a Toyota Joe Gibbs racing day. Super Roofer, Jeff Henson, calm down, man. LOL. We see you, says Stupid Roofer. Let's see. Jeff Henson saying he wants to see an Eldora race. Texas truck race Friday night, says Mark Barnum. Yes, that's interesting. The trucks are in Texas. Everybody else is in Richmond. So that's sort of a weird deal as well. Let's see. What, don't like me? I'm a fan. Says Jeff Henson. We like you, dude. Send them to the rear if they're involved, says Aaron Flynn. Yeah, so that's another good thing you can do. So that's the old late model rule. And that's the thing I think is the easiest solution to this. If you're involved with the caution in any way, shape, or form, you go to the back of the field. That will force you to drive with respect. No doubt about it. Hamlin and Wallace tag team, Mr. Kyle Larson, and that was the big fountain point, says William Wagman. So Kyle Larson, in my opinion, cut in front of Denny Hamlin, and that is as a Kyle Larson fan. But Bubba Wallace definitely drilled him. Like Kyle Larson's bad luck season continues. Him and Ryan Blaney and Ty Dillon, definitely the worst luck to start this season so far. Daggum. Tyler Reddick was in there too until he just won until the last 2 weekends, I should say. Is there another NASCAR YouTuber named Hot Dog? If so, y'all need to do a show together, says T-Van. I don't know. I'll have to do some research on that one. Jeff Henson, NASCAR, fan of baloney, not you. Hey, so you're a fan of me, but not NASCAR. NASCAR is all right. Hopefully they get it back together. But glad to have you on here. Doc 7680, I've noticed as I've been over on the said lurking, y'all don't talk amongst yourselves. There you go. I think that's because I try to answer all the questions. Let's see here. Jeff Henson, want me to leave? Nah, stay in here. You're good, dude. Just keep it civil. Building a channel here, my friend. Not trying to get popped. Yeah, so definitely we do have a goal of not getting in trouble. That's a fact. We try to obey by the terms of service. The 90-degree corners kind of scare me at the Chicago streets. We don't need another incident like Kurt Busch's or Alex Bowman's concussions last year or something worse. Says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, so without a doubt, the 90-degree turns are going to be the things to watch. There will be no passing there, but there will definitely be some wrecking there, in my opinion. So that's going to be one of those deals. And like I said, with these cars where you're just, boom, running into each other, it's going to be one of those deals without a doubt. Napa Racing Fan, hopefully NASCAR knows what they are doing. Yeah, but it's been 50-50 with their at best, being generous. It's been 50-50 with their decisions here recently. I don't know. Say Kyle, not Cal, NASCAR, we need a caution for this dirt. Also, NASCAR, don't worry about that curb coming up. We're going to wait for it to destroy the 24 car before we do anything about it. So, yeah, there it is with the level of inconsistency in NASCAR. It's just, I mean, that's a really good example. Sometimes NASCAR is like immediately, boom, we're going to have a caution. And then sometimes NASCAR is like, oh, we'll play it out. I don't think it's going to be a problem. So it's just one of those deals where NASCAR is super inconsistent with yellow flags. It's been like this since I can remember. Since I can remember, they've been inconsistent with yellows. So I can't say they necessarily have an agenda just so much as they're consistently inconsistent on it. Let's see here. Robert Stone says, give the man the likes he deserves. I appreciate it. If you want to hit the like button, it would be appreciated. If not, that's okay too. No big deal one way or the other. Stephen Emilio Jr. says, replace the big block of foam behind the bumpers and use a 1/2-inch aluminum tubing behind the bumpers to support it. It would keep them from plowing into each other. Yeah, that definitely would help as well. I like the aluminum. I do like the idea of aluminum tubing, because that is going to affect you aerodynamically. It's going to immediately cave in and things like that. I don't, with the rebound of the composite bodies, I don't know, even aluminum would save that, but maybe if you had to put some rivets into it so that it had to be attached to the aluminum somehow, because they would find a way around it, right, if they knew they could. So if you had to actually rivet it into the aluminum so that the aluminum would hold the shape of being dented in, I think that would definitely help for sure. Separate, Jeff and Stupid. Go to your separate corners for a minute. LOL, says T-Van. Shy says, too many beers, methinks. Let's see. Trying to scroll down to some actual questions here. Let's see here. Napa Racing Fan. We know for a fact that the Cup and Xfinity Series at Richmond will have better races than trucks in IndyCar and the PJ1 at Texas. Yeah, so hopefully this Richmond race with the new short track package will be fixed. They will have some significant tire fall off. That's basically all I've heard so far. So hopefully that will be the deal. I think they should go back to the sealer with Richmond. They don't necessarily need the PJ1 like they do at Texas. But I don't know. The trucks being at Texas is just it's just sort of a weird deal. I don't know. Napa Racing Fan saying IndyCar PJ1 Grand Prix. So yeah, that's for sure. Let's see. Aldous says, "Hey BB, I think it's time NASCAR moved to the 780 horsepower unrestricted engine." I wish they would, but like I've said, they seem to be very stuck on the 600 package that they have now, because it's going to bring other manufacturers into the sport, and that is from talking with other OEMs. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Aaron Flynn says, speaking of Tennessee, our thoughts and prayers. Yeah, no doubt about it. That is a terrible situation, and once again, it's gotten all political. But really, I just want to remember all the people going through something right now, and stay away from it. It's sad that it's already gotten political, right? Like it's not even cold yet, right? So the world we live in, but it sucks. And I definitely want to remember all the families over there that are going through stuff. What a terrible day. What a terrible day. It just stinks. Man, that sucks for sure. But yeah, without a doubt, thank you for that, Aaron Flynn. Josh Strickland says, that's a good looking Bush hat. Denny sucks. I appreciate it. Yeah, this was either the third or fourth year he was with Bush Beer is when I got this hat. So it's fairly new. Jeff Henson says, you're messing up the fans. I'm not sure what that's about. Let's see. Dislike. The Road Ringers didn't sound impressed in their interviews. I think the level, they were not used to that level of disrespect from other drivers. So it's definitely, I don't know if that's going to encourage other ringers to come race on road courses because of the way that one turned into sort of a circus at the end. Alda says, go reconfigure the Richmond Fairgrounds into a 0.6 mile, 18-degree banked 80K bull ring with sealer, 80K bull ring with sealer. So the old Richmond Fairgrounds was definitely a good track. They definitely got rid of that for the current Richmond. Current Richmond put on good shows back when they put sealer on it. I don't know why they stopped putting sealer on it. So we'll just have to see what happens from there. But yeah, the old Fairgrounds, if you want to go to that configuration, that was definitely a good track as well. I actually like when each series was at a different track and the drivers would have to fly to get to all the races. It kept it interesting. I think NASCAR went mostly to having it all at the same track for several reasons. It's cheaper for them to staff it that way and things like that, being the biggest one. But definitely it's easier to sell all your tickets if all your series are at the same track as well. So definitely a lot of logistical reasons as to why they went to doing it the way they're doing it now. But yeah, I do remember back in the day, that was pretty cool. It would always be all three series would be at three different places. KM says maybe they could do the audience vote option for cautions like they have in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Yeah, if NASCAR ever did an actual fan vote, I don't know how well that would go for them. I don't know. Say Kyle, not Cal. I don't know the geography of the area, but if a car hits a 90-degree angle, jumps a barrier, and takes out a tax collector's office, I think we can consider the Chicago weekend a success. Well, anytime you take out a tax collector, that is definitely a good deal. So I would agree with you on that one. We're joking, obviously, just in case we don't know anybody to take that seriously. So yeah, no doubt about it. Robert Stone, the next comedy manager. NXT comedy manager. I don't know. Tony Ferreira, good day to all. What's up, Tony? Glad to have you on here. Aaron, the weather has been crazy everywhere. We had 5 inches of snow Saturday morning, says Mark Barnum. 5 inches of snow. That stinks. So I hate it for you there. I don't know. It's been mildly cold down here, but every other day before this has been nice and warm. But we do have rain right now. It's rained pretty good ever since about 6 o'clock here. Jeff Henson saying trolls, LOL. Mark Barnum saying thanks, Doc. KM, I know it wasn't Bowman's fault completely, but as a Suarez fan, I'm still upset at him. So here's the other thing, and Door Bumper Clear said this, so I'm taking their idea. I did see multiple times in this race where Daniel Suarez himself used his front bumper to move people out of the way. So they basically were saying he's throwing rocks in a glass house. So I do agree with them on that. That being said, I'm a huge Daniel Suarez fan, but he does also need to hold himself to the same account he's holding these other drivers. Which, if he's being hypocritical about this, he wouldn't be the first driver to be hypocritical when he can hit somebody, but you're not allowed to hit him back, right? So it's an interesting dichotomy. Whenever a driver loses their temper, they're always going to get trolled by the fans that don't like them. So it is what it is. Daniel Suarez doesn't do this often, so he was just upset this race. Every driver at some point has a deal like this one. This one just happened to get caught on camera. Anytime 100 says Doc 7680, so no doubt about it. Big fan. Don't be true, says Jeff Henson. Big fan, but don't be true, says Jeff Henson. I'm not following you, Jeff. Let's see here. T-Van, watching a driver fly in 10 minutes before a race was actually kind of cool, in my opinion. Yeah, that was rad back in the day. That was definitely really cool. Just to see him basically helicopter hop from one place to another was rad. it's always really cool when you see it for the Indy 500, Coca-Cola 600 double, which Connor Daly is going to do this season. So that's going to be cool as well. Seikau Nakao, I hate the way these composites pop back. Takes the excitement out of someone pulling a Larson or Reddick riding the wall without hitting it. Yeah, that's true. It also helps them to an extent. There's less consequences, so it takes fewer people to. It takes less talent to actually get it done. So I don't know. T-Van says, watching a driver fly in 10 minutes. Oh, yeah, I just read that one. Let's see here. You have to have tact. There you go. So let's see here. Seikau Nakao, everything aside, those Tennessee cops were stone cold flawless. Amazing job. No fear, says Seikau Nakao. So, yeah, good thing that it could have been worse. And it didn't get any worse. So there is a silver lining as far as that goes. And yeah, so I'm just going to try to be respectful and not say anything much past beyond that. But yeah, that it is a good thing that person was stopped. I'll say that. Damon says, BB, can you expand just a tad as to my horsepower? The horsepower, why the horsepower is an issue for the new manufacturers? Seems like an odd reason. So it's a development cost. So the higher the horsepower, basically the more R&D money they have to put into developing an engine. The 600 or whatever horsepower package seems to be the sweet spot for all the other manufacturers. That is according to everything I've read from what NASCAR said, why they're keeping it around the 600. So I think that is probably the best bet as to why NASCAR wants to keep it there, because they're probably talking to, probably Honda. I don't think it would be as big a deal with Dodge because Dodge already has a block for it. But probably I think people like Honda, Volkswagen, I'm just throwing names out here. Like I don't have any inside info or anything like that. But somebody like that who has never raced in NASCAR, Nissan, somebody like that has never raced in NASCAR, for them to come in with a totally brand new block and for them to be able to keep it to like 600 horsepower, it helps them out from a R&D perspective to keep the cost down. Basically the same thing. This is what I would just have to call it the Toyota rule, because Toyota was going through engines left and right until they sort of limited the motors. So this was put in place for Toyota because Toyota spent so much money when they first came into the sport. So this is just the way they're doing things from here on out. Shaw says, apologies to the chat. It's all good. William Wagaman, that's why Suarez and Hamlin use their cars as battering ram. Weekend down there at COTA. Hope that Bristol they show them how to use those front bumpers. Yeah, I mean, and that's what, to go back to the Ryan Blaney deal. That's what I'm saying. If you keep getting run over by people and you don't do anything, you're going to keep getting run over by people. So you have to stick up for yourself, and possibly that's what Suarez was doing when I was seeing him using his bumper and stuff like that. Same thing with Hamlin. Hamlin's eventually going to have to stick up for himself as well. He finally did with Ross, but then he admitted it, which was dumb. So you never admit it because you're going to get a suspension or a fine or something like that. But yeah, so you have to stick up for yourself, but you also have to be smart about it. So it's a fine line to walk for sure. T-Van, I'm going to try to moderate now. For everyone and tell everyone to chill. I haven't seen it all, but come on, guys. Yeah, so it's been one of those days. It is what it is. Doc says, I think Jeff's been off his meds today. Say Kyle, not Cal. Drivers kind of played themselves. Next time an F1 guy thinks about NASCAR, they're going to ask Kimmy Jensen their opinion, and I doubt it will be positive. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it turned a lot of people away from the sport. So I would 100%, or it's going to turn a lot of open wheel guys away from the sport, just because they turned it into a crap fest, to put it bluntly. At least the last bit of it. I think everybody was having a good time until probably the last 10 laps or so. Stephen Emilio Jr., from the way Brad was talking on Race Hub tonight, he seems to think the car is going to be much looser and different from last year. Yeah, so tire fall off has been the big talk of everything. And then, of course, way less downforce for sure. So hopefully this is going to put on a much better race, because you're going to actually have to drive it. So it should put on more of a traditional, 20 or 15 year ago Richmond race. How to says, someone suggested how to fix the overtime rule. If there is a caution under 6 to go, red flag and don't count the laps. You don't even have to red flag it. You just don't count the laps. And if there's another caution in the race under caution, oh, there you go. That's a fair enough way. You don't even have to red flag it. Like over here, over here in late model stuff, short track racing, we run laps under caution, but we don't count the laps under caution. So that's another angle you could put in there on that one. But yeah, good point. That would be a helpful solution. I think so too. Shaw says I would love to see another driver get most popular driver vote. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen unless Chase Elliott just declines to have his name nominated in there. Because that's basically what Bill Elliott did one year so that Dale Earnhardt Sr. would win in the year that he left us. Napa says, I miss truck and Xfinity solo shows, like when trucks were at Canadian Tire and Xfinity was at Mid-Ohio, Road America in Montreal. Dumping Road America on the Cup schedule is still a huge mistake. I agree with you on all that, but definitely on leaving Road America behind. I hate that track's no longer on the schedule. Big mistake by NASCAR, in my opinion, as well. Let's see here. Jeff Henson, appreciate it, buddy. Fist bump there on the super chat there. I have lost my spot, so I'm just going to pick a spot and go from there. Let's see. Needs to be a tire that wears out quicker too, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, I think they've got that in play for this particular Richmond race. So with the less downforce and if the tire gets some fall off, I think it's going to be good there as well. I think it's okay, says one wise guy. Let's see here. Napa Racing Fan 927. Only solo truck and Xfinity events I can think of are trucks now at Mid-Ohio and Xfinity and at Portland and at Road America. I think you're right about that. I can't remember another solo truck date that they have. Let's see. Mark Barnum, Moulton, the Canada truck race was a good one. So there you go. Let's see. Did I miss Moulton's comment? The 600 too. Moulton Rage saying the 600 as well. So there you go. Turn one at Coda was way too wide. Yeah, so they do that for entertainment, but I guess they weren't factoring in the restarts as well. They like it that you can be four wide everywhere on that track, I think is what they said on the broadcast. So I don't think they factored in restarts in turn one. So maybe if you put some track limits, at least on the restarts, that would help as well. I love the old Richmond Raceway, says William Wagman. I think a lot of people did, for sure. No doubt about it. Even the old Richmond Fairgrounds, a lot of people missed that too. Doc 7680, Jeff, be careful. Stupid is about to be the lawnmower, and you're going to be the grass. Yeah, so I don't know exactly what's going on, but let's be respectful in the chat, I guess. Molten Rage says I need to vent real quick about NASCAR's officiating in Xfinity. So Custer gets basically dumped by Barry into the gravel. He gets stuck instead of immediately throw it out into the caution. They waited a lap. WTF? Yeah, that's actually what we were just talking about. Like, they are so inconsistent with cautions. But we saw last race, even though it was going to be a caution anyway, as soon as they thought it was going to be a caution, they threw the caution flag because they wanted that exciting finish at Atlanta, right? So that's what I'm talking about. NASCAR is just super inconsistent with how they do cautions, and it's very frustrating to watch. Napa, Milwaukee too. So the Milwaukee Mile too is another one, says Mark Barnum. Troy Ferreira, 16, bad luck or bad car. I think he had bad luck. I think he's just had bad luck so far this season. Talking about AJ Allmendinger. I think he's just had bad luck so far this season. Napa Racing Fan says, yes, I forgot about Milwaukee. Glad that's returning. Should have Cup and Xfinity dates as well. I agree with that. Milwaukee's a great track. Milwaukee Mile's a good track. Why did they wait for a freaking lap to throw the yellow? They literally screwed Custer off the lead lap and waiting one lap. Hello, there's a car stuck in the gravel pit. Why aren't you throwing the yellows? See, I mean, that's a fair point. NASCAR is just super inconsistent with their yellows. Trucks at IRP is kind of solo, but Xfinity and Cups are only a few miles away at IMS. Yep. IRP is that's a good track too. I wish they could work that into the Cup schedule as well. Napa trucks need to be at Iowa. Yeah, trucks at something needs to be at Iowa. We want Iowa back, right? So let's see. I'm generally not upset with NASCAR for waiting a lap to throw a caution for Custer being stuck in the gravel pit. That screwed us whole race. I am generally upset with NASCAR. Yeah. So yeah. They definitely are inconsistent. That's for sure, Molten. Let's see. Stephen Emilio Jr. says, not making excuses for Daniel, but this track is as close to his backyard as you can get. Oh, yes, that's a fair point. I think he is just asking a little bit too much of himself. Yeah, so it was basically his home track race. I didn't think of that, but yeah, so maybe he put some extra pressure on himself that he wouldn't normally in that particular situation. Say Kyle I feel like OEM look at their products. As point A to B, 4 cylinders is all that matters, and doesn't want to spend money on powerful cars. Thus, they don't want to develop high horsepower engines for sports. Yeah, that's actually a better way of what I was trying to get at. So 100% accurate on that one, and that's why NASCAR has put the horsepower cap on things. Unfortunately, because of course more horsepower would make for better racing. Without a doubt, because you would automatically have more tire fall off. Uncle Bone says Hamlin did not need to spin our guy the 5. His radio tells me he did that protecting Bubba, says Uncle Bones. So, okay, so I haven't heard the radio, but if that's the case, then that was definitely a crappy move, no doubt about it. Let's see here. Guys, BB has been reading and answering for an hour and only 7 likes. It's an inch away from your thumb. It's the like button this week. Bunch of ingrates, says Damon Cuss. So yeah, if you want to hit the like button, you're not ingrates, but if you'd like to hit the like button, that would be appreciated. Let's see. Team Fit says actually 52 likes right now. So yeah, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button, but it's not mandatory. Let's see. Maybe his phone doesn't. Oops, maybe my phone doesn't update, says Damon. It happens, dude. It's all good. Jeff Henson saying baloney. What's up, Jeff Henson? Aldous says, but here's how to fix the overtime rule. Get rid of the green-white checkered. If there's a caution with under 10 to go, just have a 15-minute sprint race and don't count the caution laps. Hey, so there you go. Just put a timer on it. That's definitely a different way of going about it. Let's put the old 1970s bumpers on these cars and see what happens, says T-Van. Hey, put the actual chrome horn on them. That would be funny. Jeff Henson says, I love the chat and that he is sorry. So whatever was going on, Jeff is apparently sorry. Aldous says, Truck's got Milwaukee as a solo event. So there you go. Milwaukee Mile solo event. That's going to be a good one. I like Milwaukee Mile. Now we just need to get Iowa somehow back on the circuit. We've got Nashville, it seems like, in the works. Let's put make Iowa the next one. Just having fun with NASCAR, says Jeff Henson. Team Fit says Aldous true. So he's agreeing with Aldous there with the timer on the how to fix the end of races there. B1624, have you thought about doing channel memberships like Iceberg does? I'd be willing to kick in $1 or $2 each month. Awesome stuff you do. So I tell you what, I'll put it up to a poll because I think I do qualify for those now. I'm not sure. It might be I qualify now or I might have to wait to 10,000. But I'll put up a poll. Do you guys want memberships? Whoops. How do you do a poll? Been so long, I forgot. There we go. Do you guys want memberships? There we go. I probably misspelled something, but we'll see here. Yep, memberships. Do you want memberships? Memberships. Stimpy, do you want memberships? There you go. Let's see. Let's go. So far, 75% yes. So looks like I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. But I will. If it goes yes, I will add that. Josh Kruger says, "What's your take on Bubba Wallace's comments after his day ended Sunday?" To me, it was just over dramatic. Like he was being too hard on himself. Whichever way you want to look at it, and as we were talking about earlier. He needs either a sports psychologist or Kenny Wallace, the Herminator, has offered to talk to him and just sort of not get him to be so hard on himself when situations like that happen. Because you even heard Kurt Busch in the booth say, "Hey, every driver has stuff like this that happens to them. Don't take it so seriously. Just sort of moderate and balance yourself." But we do know that Bubba Wallace has some I guess, depression issues, and this could be a symptom of that. So I don't want to speak out of school on a situation like this, but I definitely think a sports psychologist would help. And I'm not saying that from the aspect of he needs help or anything like that, because we saw Jimmy Johnson win 7 championships with a sports psychologist. So I think pretty much everybody would need a sports psychologist. I just think it helps you achieve, and they've got the money to do it at this level, right? So it's not a big deal. But I think it helps you achieve your ultimate goal. So I think those two things could help him, whichever one he chooses. He might already have one, and he might be working through that stuff. Like I said, I don't want to speak out of school on a mental health issue. So that's my take on it. I think he was just being too hard on himself or being over dramatic. It just depends on how you interpret it. Shah says, sorry, the man or woman on the caution button sleeps a lot, says Josh Strickland. Yeah, but when they wake up, they're Johnny on the spot, right? When they wake up, when there's like 10 laps to go, they're Johnny on the spot with that rascal. There's no doubt about that. Shah says, Bologna Burger, what B1624 said, I'd kick you $1 or $2 a month, says Shah. So there you go. It'll definitely be one of those deals that helps out when we hit 10,000 and we get the Fiat project going. So it'll definitely help out on those deals for sure. I feel like the 16 has had bad luck, but he's been having that bad luck in P15 and P20 on most weeks. Yeah, so they haven't had the raw speed that they sort of, I guess, were hoping for this season. Sort of, trying to piggyback off of what RCR is doing, because they're basically in the same shop. I mean, you could throw a stone from one and hit the other one. They're on RCR's campus. So but I think they'll get it turned around. They definitely got it turned around when they had that practice. AJ Allmendinger, he started off with a really crappy road course car. I don't think he was super happy with it. But by the time the race had rolled around, they had that thing handling pretty good. But then I think they got off sequence on the pit stops, and then it was just it just wasn't a good day from there. Jeff Henson says yes. Excuse me. Mike George says cool hat, BB Bush. Bush beer. Yep. This is definitely one of my favorite hats. It's got you can't see it because of the light there. Oh, maybe it's on the back. Yeah, it's got a gold 4 on the back. I don't know. I can't tilt it that way. Let's see. KM, Daniel wins that race if it stays green the whole time. Oh, yeah. I agree with you 100% on that, KM, because I think he had the most gas to do that. And Ross Chastain probably would have finished second. If this thing goes green the whole way, I think you get a Trackhouse 1-2. No doubt in my mind. And possibly Kyle Busch gets up into the top 5 because he had the newest tires and the most amount of fuel. And he had pitted the earliest of those people that were going to do that multiple stop or what is it, 3 stops instead of 2 stops. Napa Racing Fan says trucks with ARCA at Milwaukee, but who cares about ARCA? It's just a mess now. Other than Malcolm in the Middle, most viewers don't know any of the drivers. That's a fair point. ARCA has constantly been turning into a mess ever since basically Frank Kimmel Jr. retired or Frank Kimmel retired. I can't remember. Molten Rage also did Josh Berry not lift? I get he was fighting with William Byron, but dude, the car beside you is clearly it was. I haven't seen the wreck, but I heard it was just a mistake from Josh Berry, as far as I know. Ross the Moose Chastain for most popular driver campaign, says Shot. I mean, he's got if Chase Elliott takes his name off the ballot, I feel like Ross has as good a chance as anybody to get that thing. Goodyear became. There we go. Goodyear became the tire that identifies as a tire for years. They just started making a hard tire that never wore off. I think NASCAR needs to use different tires on different tracks. So that's another thing I think would be cool is if they sort of went the F1 route where you had a medium, hard, and soft compound on the tires and you had to run all 3. I think that would be pretty cool too. I'm one of those 7 likes. Better get that like button, y'all. Says Say Kyle, not Cow. I appreciate it. Nice job by the 99, says Jeff Henson. Yeah, he definitely had a good race. Maybe we hit the magic number of 6-9. That would be nice if we did. Chrome Diesel, what happens if NASCAR can't attract a 4th OEM? Oh, that's a good question. I think we just go on with what we got. But if they just give up on getting a 4th OEM, I think you'll see the horsepower increase for sure. Say Kyle, not Cal. I'm showing 3 likes. Just haven't refreshed. BB always earns out earns out the like smash. LOL. I appreciate it. You guys are too nice, man. Jeff Henson says truly. Thank you guys, man. Y'all are being super nice, and I appreciate it. Let's see. T-Van says, you want different manufacturers. You're going to have different tire manufacturers. All manufacturers have different tires. Yeah, so like just going to a different compound, I think, like sort of like what F1 does is I think what they were getting at there. Molten Rage says Joey Logano will drive the number 66 Ford F-150 for Thor Sport in the NASCAR Truck Series at Bristol Dirt. Yep, we talked about that a little bit earlier. I can't remember if he won it on the Bristol Dirt in the truck or if he won it maybe in the Xfinity car, but he definitely won it in the Cup Series. So he'll definitely be somebody to reckon with over there. And didn't he drive one last? I don't think it was on Bristol Dirt, but didn't he drive the Planet Fitness Thumbs Up truck last year at some point too? So that's going to be pretty cool. Jeff Henson says moon launch. Are we talking about moon car? Is there a moon car race launching? I don't know. Stupid River says 1,000 and 3,000 watch hours. I'm pretty sure you meet the criteria, BB. Okay, so it's something I hadn't looked at in a while. I might be thinking about something else then with the 10K. 10K might be to show T-shirts at the bottom of your thing, at the bottom of your screen when videos are playing. Maybe say Kyle Cow. I'm the only one voting yes and joining. If it's a membership, this is say Kyle not Cow. Yeah. So there we go. We have a classic misspeak from me, but I like it now. Membership. Join the membership club. Love all wrenches, says Jeff Henson. Let's see, Mark Barnum. Danica was married to a sports shrink. Oh, golly. The Danica hate is real. He must not have been too good, LOL, says Mark Barnum. There you go. There you go. So it doesn't help everybody, that's for sure. According to her comments recently where she didn't put time in on the simulator when Tony Uri Jr. gave her a setup, I got to say part of that's just on her effort. I can't believe she classic cell phone there. Alda says, screw the street race. If Chicago doesn't return, its time cup goes to Iowa. Iowa gets reconfigured like the current Richmond Fairgrounds, 3/4 mile, 12 to 14 degrees of progressive banking. Yeah, so there you go. Shas is laughing on the floor about what Mark Barnum says. Jeff Henson says, baloney for you and me, LOL. There you go, baloney for all. Angus 420. Well, I'm glad I lost the 50 bones I had on Kimmy, confused with the car running for Rick Ware Racing. I should have bet $1,000 on Johnson, and I would have made 10 grand. There you go. Who knew Jimmy Johnson would finish that far back? There you go. Is part of that deal. Let's see. Stephen River says working together. Jeff Henson. Molten Ray says Bubba is too hard on himself. I get he has depression. The best thing to do is not be hard on yourself because you make it more mistakes by being hard on yourself. Trust me, I fight with it. Don't be hard on yourself. I agree with that 100%. Like they just need to step. Like if you have that particular deal, just step back from it and realize it's not that big of a deal. Just help it out a little bit. Jeff Henson, I'm not you. Like Damon Cuss. The way crime Damon Cuss, Apple autocorrect just sucks. That's a fact. Autocorrect gets me all the time, Damon. It's almost as bad as me speaking in real life. Team FT, I'm an ARCA fan though. I like ARCA too. I'm glad Frankie Munoz is in it and bringing a little bit of a shine to it. The race in Daytona was great. It had a great finish, a great storyline for that one. Let's see here. Mark Langren, hello from the land of the Frozen Chosen. What's up, Mark Langren? What's up, Frozen Chosen? Mark Langren said it was a bad day for AJ. Yeah. He looked like he was going to get it going, and then he was just mired back in traffic all day, and then the inevitable of being mired back in traffic happened. I want ARCA to be good. It usually sucks every time I watch as a Napa Racing fan. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It's just falling off. It's not what it used to be. T-Van said, I need a life psychologist. Bologna Burger is my man right now, says T-Van. We're all in trouble if that's the case. I don't know what to tell you on that one. Team FT, we're at 63 likes. Ace, there you go. We're at 63 right now. Shaw says, yep. 3 standard tire choices. That would be cool. I do think that would be something NASCAR could add. That would be sort of a cool deal, no doubt about it. The ARCA Daytona race was good. Yeah, 100% Team FT. I agree with that. Mark Langer saying, thanks, Stupid Roofer, and Stupid Roofer saying, nice. Angus 420, some of us farmers call good years. Some of us farmers call years good, call Goodyear's good for years because they're either wore out or dry rotted to the point of leaking air after 1 year. Oh, Goodyear's good for a year. Good for 8 years. I got you. Wow, I misread the crap out of that one. I apologize for that. I have heard that joke before, so it makes it even worse that I misread that 12 times. That's what you get with a public school education, though. So Jeff Henson, plus plus plus, LOL. Napa racing fan. Daytona was good, but most other places other than super speedways, ARCA is not good. Yeah, unfortunately, there's just a vast difference in the level of good equipment in there. Mark Langren with the thumbs up there. Jeff Henson with the hey, fist bump. There you go. And another one. Boom. Double. It looks like we got a double fist bump there. So there you go. Appreciate it, dude. Angus 420 says people argue that drivers are over aggressive. That's only part of it. Coda has like a half mile or more straightaway where they go for almost 200 miles go from almost 200 miles an hour to 25 for a 180-degree turn. Yeah, so I mean it's partly the way the speedway is or the road course is built. That's part of the deal too. I agree with that 100%. Shaw says Goodyear sucks, and Jeff Henson says all day. Let's see here. I've taken a new vehicle bought with Goodyear to a tire shop to trade that crap in for BF Good wrenches, says Shaw. So there you go. Everybody has their favorite tire. My favorite tire is the tire that is on sale. I think I've got Potenzas. I've got Goodyears on my Silverado, and I've got Potenzas on the other car. Bridgestone Potenzas, I think, is what they're called. Let's see. Back to Road America. Mark Langren says, yeah, I wish they put Road America back on the schedule as well. Angus 420 says, NASCAR always twice the weight of an F1 car, meaning you have that inertia, so you'd have to move in the opposite direction. So that's, yeah, they definitely have to go. It would be a soft tire, but they would have to factor in the fact that NASCAR cars are definitely heavier. So, of course, heavier cars are harder to build tires for. That's also a fair point. Alice says Elite Precision 29. And I say that in order for new manufacturers to enter the sport, add more horsepower and speed attracts. That's why when you go to a hybrid engine, give it 780 to 800 horsepower. Like that could be a legitimate option. No doubt about it, especially when they go to the hybrid engine, because then you could possibly put in there whatever type of engine you want to. It doesn't have to be a V8 as long as it hits that particular mark. That's how IMSA does it. So that would be a fair way to do it. Jeff Henson says, LOL, baloney. Appreciate it, Jeff. Aldous says, NASCAR needs to dump Goodyear for either Michelin, Pirelli, or Firestone and have 3 different tire compounds, says Aldous. I think a lot of people feel that way. But they just recently re-upped with Goodyear, so I don't know. Jeff Henson says, what's up, y'all? Stupid Roofer says Elite Precision is a great channel. Oh, yeah. So if you haven't visited Elite Precision 29's channel, check him out. He's got a great channel. And if you like what you see, go ahead and hit the old subscribe button on him because he's just getting going. He's just about to break out. I'm telling you, he's good. I like his channel a lot. See Kyle Nakao, I asked Moody about prime option tires. He didn't laugh me off the air and kind of like the idea. Hopefully NASCAR was listening that day. Says say Kyle, not Kyle. So that's rare that Moody actually agrees with a call in that's outside of the box. I will say that, but I appreciate what Dave Moody does. He keeps it 100, as the kids say. Mark Martin fan for life with the super chat. Appreciate it. Buddy, run 3 different tire compounds and divide up the sets equally. 9 sets of 3 each, and each compound must be run once. That is a perfect way to do it. Thank you for the super chat also. But yeah, I agree with that 100%. That is probably the best way to do it. You have to run each one of the tires, so that adds strategy into it too. Do you use the soft tire early on and then go for a long run on the hard tire? You see things like that in F1 all the time. So and then the medium compound, where do you put that in? I think that would be a fun deal. Gojo says with NASCAR. Team save money strategy. We will never see F1 style hard soft. Yeah, that's a good point, Gojo. That's a good point. But I feel like NASCAR save money strategy is all just. It's just I don't know. it's just something they say. I don't necessarily think it's something that they actually believe, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion on it. Stupid Roofer with the LOL. Escobar says, I wish NASCAR ran Michelin. Jeff Henson says, LOL baloney. Yeah, I think a lot of people want to see something different than Goodyear. And then a lot of traditionalists are glad Goodyear has stuck around as long as it has. T-Van says, Josh Williams needs to get a shampoo sponsor. Just saying. I mean, he's got a nice flow. So him and Corey LaJoy, the fact that they don't have shampoo sponsors is amazing. Although Corey LaJoy did have Old Spice for a little while, Goodyear is just awful, says Shaw. A lot of people agree with that. Only problem with NASCAR looking at adding other tire manufacturers, the fans' head will explode to find tons to complain about. Yeah, no doubt about that. So, I mean, we're NASCAR fans. We're always going to nitpick something. BF Goodwrench is my favorite, too. Thumbs up, says Napa Racing Fan. And Jeff Henson with another super chat. So, another boom. There you go. Fist bump for the super chat. I missed that one earlier, I think. Apologize for that. Toyo tires on my S10, says Mark Barnum. Hey, there you go. Toyos were good. I've had those on some overseas cars that I've had. We'll put it that way. I run those on Maypops, says Josh Strickland. So there you go. No Michelin. Remember F1 at Indy, says Mark Langren. So there you go. Michelin has had their issues as well. Let's see here. Damon Cuss says, whoa, hey. Damon Cuss says, BB, ever thought about once a month show where you showcase the top drivers in the farm leagues? Southwest Tour was in that. Some great drivers and stories just to mix it up. So I've tried that in the past. It didn't go over particularly well. It might be my execution on it. But we can, you know what? If I get a chance, I can sort of. I used to do a Tier 2 Tuesday. I did it every Tuesday, and I would showcase either a story or a driver from just one of the tiers that were not circle track racing that is not Cup Series, but I can try to figure out how to do that like once a month and see how that goes. So we'll try to add that to the list. Let me write it down because I don't remember stuff a lot of times. All right, there you go. So hopefully I will remember that. I still might forget it though. So, but yeah, I would be interested in doing something like that. Wouldn't be a problem. Shaw says I had too many good years and seen others just disintegrate for no good reason. After a few miles, just so undependable. So a lot of people feel that way. I've had Michelins do that too. So I've been a Firestone guy, so they've been good to me. The set of good years I have on my truck have been good to me. So it just depends on the tire. They all make good ones. They all make bad ones. I say the same thing with cars. Mark Langer says Firestone guaranteed to blow out. Hey, so there you go. Firestone's been good to me. Although they did get me basically laid off and fired from Ford over Explorer Gate back in the day. So I can't say they've always been good to me. I should say Jeff Henson laughing at that one. Say Kyle Nakal, some of y'all. Angus 420. Sorry. If you go to 1,000 plus horsepower hybrid, you can crank some ponies out of the engines. If there's 2,000 horsepower plus engines being built for daily drivers, I mean that's a fair point. Maybe they need to get the backyard engineers over at some of these OEMs. Say Kyle Nakal, some of y'all. Maybe too young to remember the tire wars, but there is zero chance there are. I don't think there's ever going to be multiple tire manufacturers ever again. I agree with that 100%. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks for the update. Yep, no problem, Kelly. Always good to have you on the channel. And Stupid Roofer has put Elite Precision's channel up there, so if you want to check him out, he's made it easy for you. Let's see here. Mark is a beast, says Jeff Henson. Mark Barnum says later Kelly. Mark Langren says have been to Goodyear, Firestone, BF Goodwrench, and Bridgestone for updating technology. Unfortunately, BFG was the only one to spend money. So there you go, BF Goodwrench, looking like they're on top of the game right now. Jeff Henson, check out dude's arms. Shah says, talking about the fist pump. Shah says, BB, I was thinking hard tire in the heat, soft in the cold, and a rain tire, Canadian Logic. Hey, there you go. All kinds of different compounds. Mark Langren, you mean Hoosier? Yeah, that was the other manufacturer back in the day. Say Kyle Nakal, NASCAR, we're trying to save your team's money right now. Going wreck 20 because that's in our DNA. I mean, that's a fair point. That's exactly what I was thinking. Say Kyle, not Cal. Thank you. Angus 420, run Hoosier for Dirt Bristol. If you want a true dirt experience, there you go. Jeff Henson laughing at that one. T Van says, I will say the last good years I had on my Jeep lasted 11 years, but I don't own them now. They sucked on wet pavement, but they were good on tire wear. So there you go. Jeff Henson says, I love the chat. Shaw says, Angus 420, hell to the yeah. Let's see here. Moulton says, so yeah, I'm just saying that as advice for Bubba, don't let those terrible people on Twitter get in your head. I agree with that. That's for anybody. Don't let social media get into your head. That's for sure. And beat you down. You're better than them, and pray for you. Pray for you to fail, so don't give them that. Oh, they pray for you to fail, so don't give them that. Yeah, that's for sure. Everybody's always going to have haters if you're trying to do something, if you're trying to do something good or big or, whatever, just trying to do something outside of the box, you're always going to have haters. That is for let's see here. Alda says NASCAR needs to change its plate package to a restrictor plate, 6.5-inch spoiler, 570 horsepower, car raised 2 inches and a shorter quarter panel, and a hybrid of pack racing and tandem racing. I like to excuse me. I like to see the tandem racing come back. That was probably my favorite. Sort of my favorite form of racing as far as plate racing goes recently. Thank you all NASCAR purists community here. BB, freaking awesome, says Stupid Roofer. Yeah, it's a good time for sure. Okay, I still want to know about Joey's hair, says Kelly Combs. He either got hair implants or he's wearing a wig. It is a big debate, but he saw a problem that he saw with he didn't like the way his hair looked, and he took action on it. So there you go. Throwback to the beginning of the year. That was a big talk at the beginning of the year. Take the effing plates off the cars. Yeah, or they're not even plates anymore, but they're tapered spacers, I guess now. Mark Langren, you have CRS. Stupid Roofer says LOL to Kelly. Talking about the Joey Hairgate. I guess we could call it. Jeff Groves says, in the ban on tire softeners, I could take a set of 300-lap Hoosiers, throw some diesel fuel. Hey, diesel fuel's magic. And automatic transmission fluid on them and get 300 more laps out of them. Right back at 50 on the Duro. There you go, Jeff Groves. You know the deal, buddy. That diesel fuel is where it's at, man. Sounds like you've done some go-kart racing, too. If diesel fuel can't soften up that tire, there's no hope for it. Let's see. And Jeff Henson laughing about the tires. Shaw says Kelly Combs, Joey has the same thing as Will Smith's wife. He's had treatments for the hair. Kids get it as well, says Shaw. So there you go. KM Stellantis has never had a good car. Sure, they're good at making bad ones. They sure are good at making bad ones, though, says KM. Shaw says alopecia. Maybe I forgot the name for the disorder. Yeah, alopecia is the name of it, I think. I didn't know that's what he had, but he definitely saw it as an issue, and he did something to take care. Like, I just see it as somebody taking action to correct something that bothered him. I don't know. I don't know. I see it differently, I guess, than like, I guess it's 50-50 on that one. I've had issues with Firestone tractor tires getting flat spotted and out of round from the factory, and I'm not talking little ones eventually fix themselves. I'm talking about offset centers on $2,000 tires. Yeah, that sucks. There's no doubt about that. I agree on NASCAR has the smoke and mirrors nowadays on everything. That's what pisses me off, says T-Van. Yeah, they seem to say one thing and do another a lot of times. I agree with that. Not all the time, but I'm just saying there's definitely several examples of that. Let's see here. And throw you off the seat, says Angus 420, talking about the flat spots on the tractor tires. Jeff Henson saying no. Stupid Roofer, oh no. Jeff Henson, LOL, love you, brother. So there you go. Shaw says Angus 420, that's brutal. I'd be pissed. Old farm boy or oil guy. Yeah, those tractor tires are they're up there. Let's see here. Jeff Henson, love baloney. We love you back, Jeff. Let's see here. Say Kyle, not Cal. The tandem where the drivers would talk to each other was total team control. That was the best video game in my opinion too. Would make for one hell of a radioactive segment. Now I agree with that 100%, man. Like if they could key up, if teammates could imagine if Suarez and Chastain could have talked to each other on the road course, that could have been radioactive gold. Monray says, "Oh dear Lord, not tandem racing again." So there you go. For every thing that one NASCAR fan likes, there's one that doesn't like it. The most cheapskate way of winning a race, it was never based off of talent because the best car would have to go behind his teammate because the teammate would just die without him. Says Moulton, Joey didn't want to. Oh, Mark Barnum says Joey didn't want Haley upstaging him on that end of the deal, and I'll leave that one at that. I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole, but that was pretty funny. I will say that's funny. Joey has glued that thing on his head, has glued that rug on his head. If he feels good about himself, that's all that matters. Says Doc 7680. That's what I'm saying. If it works for him. Like that's all that matters. If that's what he needed to get his confidence back, good for him, man. Josh Strickland, peace out, good show, baby. Yeah, and I'm gonna hop off here in just a few minutes myself. But I appreciate y'all for jumping in. Have we really gone this long without a Deegan reference? LOL says say Kyle not Cal. There you go. We made it this far. We made it to an hour and 39 before we got to Deegan. But there you go. And the first comment was about the bolt-ons, as they are referred to in the chat, I guess. Let's see here. T-Van says, "Hey, BB, Anderson Speedway in Indiana, and put small track videos, maybe once a month. I know you're a busy guy." Yeah, so I help out with the Ace Speedway. We try to do them. It's been a while because it's been the off season, but we do the same thing at Ace. But I'll check you out, Anderson in Indiana, I think. So check that one out. Check out their channel if you like good short track racing, and I'll try to check it out myself. Stupid Roofer says we're going to Rumble, fellas. LOL. Say Kyle not Cal. Joey has alopecia. My wife can't stand him. And called him Joey Alopecia until I told her he got his hair done. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to pick on a deal like that. Terms of service and everything. Just keeping it real there. I hope Kurt cheers up, Bubba. I really do hate when I hear a driver say they can be replaced because they make a mistake. Clearly, yeah, it stinks. And hopefully Kurt Busch can get back and run a few races as well. Got to run, fellas, this summer here in the Philippines already, says Alice. Hey, have a good time, brother. Appreciate you being on here. Mark Langer says, I was at a race tire manufacturing facility. I was at the race tire manufacturing facility, says Mark Langren, talking about who's putting the technology into those deals. Jeff Henson says 8 poster. I don't know about poster, but maybe a flag. Hurts more when they are special order. That one took 8 months to get, says Angus 420. Talking about the tractor tires. Just the joys of having an antique tractor, says Angus 420. So that's a big deal down where I'm at, too. A lot of antique tractor collectors down here. Massey Ferguson's are the big ones. Jeff Grove says when Kelly Earnhardt was racing legend cars, we had to run those BF Goodwrench rocks. They would shave them and would fry in about 30 laps. Then rock up Ricky Eves go-kart racing at the time. Hey, there you go. There you go. Let's see. Jeff Henson, yes, you are. Best community in YouTube. I want to be unleashed, says Stupid Roofer. Jeff Groves was standing there in the pits one night and said, you should try ATF and diesel fuel. Hey, there you go. There you go. A little brake fluid and a little diesel fuel, or a little transmission fluid, a little diesel fuel. Deegan sucks. Katie Hettinger now is the real deal. So there you go. It's always somebody on the come up. So if you're on the up, you got to stay on the up, right? That's part of the game. Haley Deegan used to be the big name. Now it's Katie Hettinger right now. So we'll see how that plays out. Angus 420. Are my mom and I the only ones who think Jeff Gordon is the only one who will be inheriting HMS? Maybe. I don't know. He seems to be in prime position to do it. Do you think if NASCAR went to a 6-cylinder engines that more manufacturers would be interested? I don't know about 6 cylinders specifically, but I think if they went to sort of like what IMSA does, you can run whatever engine you want to as long as it fits in these configurations. It makes this much power or no more than this power. However, IMSA does their engine formula. I think that would help the most. Deegan is a joke, wanted to be a fan, but I don't see any commitment, says Sha. That's a critique a lot of people have. I think she's going to be okay. Hopefully she can get it done this year, but she definitely has to have results this year, no doubt about it. Molten Rage says NASCAR drivers have a mental health issue. Bubba has shown it, and I hope he gets treated for because mental health is a serious issue. I agree, and I think he does have somebody he talks to about that. That's what I was getting at. Escobar, they used to run V6 in the Busch Series in the early '90s. That's a fact. Angus 420, no doubt about it. Good night, everyone. Have a happy week, says Cassandra Keller. Good night, Cassandra. Hope you have a happy week as well. Angus 420, I miss it. Say Kyle, not Cal. I'm curious what MJ thought of Bubba's comments. The man is notorious for hating bad or weak attitudes. Kwame Brown could tell you about that. That's a fair point. MJ's tough. He's a tough critic. There's no doubt about that. Later Tater says Shaw, the wig is going to repeat, says Damon Cuss. Later Cassandra. Mark saying, okay, Shaw. Jeff Henson says it's too bad that Bubba feels bad. Shaw was just joking. Bikini took out her teammate, says Mark. ASA also ran V6. Jeff Henson laughing out loud. Milka Duno is going to make a massive comeback. LOL, JK, says Escobar. Hettinger was the first woman to ever win a Smyrna Speed Weeks late model race at blank years old, says Jeff Groves. I think she's either 15 or 16. I think she's 16 now, so she's probably 15 then. I'm not sure. Just ordered a Baloney Burger Media t-shirt, says Delmar Kaufman. I appreciate it, Delmar. Jeff Groves, she was 15 when she did it. So Jeff Groves jumping in there. She was 15. Steve Roofer, I can work with you on how the social media stuff works so far, BB. I promised you I would get you hit there. I appreciate it, Roofer. Like I'm doing, I try to do as much as I can as to what the community asks. So I try to be flexible. Deegan needs to race more outside of trucks and get seat time, in my opinion, says Shaw. Yeah, she races a lot of dirt at Millbridge, but she definitely needs to work in some Xfinity starts and stuff like that. I agree with that. By all, says Mark Langren. Jeff Henson, Bubba needs to help when he hits and is pushing the 5. For sure. That was not a good look. Let's see. T-Van, first of all, I don't have alopecia. I'm just bald. Sometimes you just lose your hair. You don't need a reason, says T-Van. So there you go. I don't know. That's been like such a big I never thought that would be a big conversation topic. Joey Logano's hair this season. So I didn't have that on my bingo card. Have to tap out, get the membership set up. Good night, everyone, says Mark Martin fan. Hey, there you go. I'm going to try to get that done when this one goes off in just a few minutes. I'm going to read these last few comments that are up on my thing, and then I'm going to hop off myself. Let's see here. 07 all says Stevie Roofer, Molten Rage. Kyle, please don't tell me you didn't just say if you're showing that you are clearly fighting depression, you're weak. I didn't say that. I said Michael Jordan has notoriously been hard on people that he deems as weak. Don't put words into my mouth. You just worded your comment wrong because if you didn't, it actually hurts me. I didn't say that. I said Michael Jordan thinks people typically in his past has thought people like that are weak. I think Kurt Busch needs to get in the 23 while Bubbles gets help. I don't know. I think this is just everybody's making way too much out of it. Hot take, not serious. Throw the car tomorrow wing on the next gen car for a race. They would, but when you go backwards on it, it lifts the car up. So that's why they got rid of it. Can teammates not communicate anymore? Really? Yeah. NASCAR got rid of it to my knowledge. I don't think they can anymore. Good job, BB, and your mods for building a good community here, says Shaw. Jeff Henson says sliced bread. So there you go. Old sliced bread. That was the OG nickname. Jeff Groves, BB, trivia question for you. Do you remember who was the only? Do you remember when the only fast way off of 2 at South Boston was down on the apron, and when did they block it off? I do remember that, but now that they've got the, I don't remember when they blocked it off. Probably after the first Busch Series race they had there, or first or second Busch Series race they had there would be my guess, if I had to guess. But since the repave, it's been basically a high grip track. So it's actually had a couple grooves since the repave. Mark Langer says New York hairline was back at age 21. Made me look in the 30s. So there you go. A lot of follicle issues in the chat. Say Kyle, not Cal. Have a great night, everyone. Appreciate the time as always, BB. Appreciate you. Say Kyle, not Cal. Rob Rohr says Deegan needs to be a mommy because she would have plenty of suitors. I think she's got the funding side covered so far. I meant to say Kyle, Molten Rage. Say Kyle, Molten Rage, you too. I think he was talking about how Michael Jordan perceived things. Same thing as BB said. MJ, not me. He's ruthless. Yeah, that's what we're saying. We're talking about specifically Michael Jordan, how he used to be back in the day. We don't know that he's like that now, right? So let's not put that there. When we stop the astigmatism on the mental health issue, there will be change, says Doc 7680. That's a fair point. The stigmatism on it is definitely an issue. There's definitely a stigma to it. Jeff Henson with the super chat, appreciate it. And with that one, I am going to jump off here. That is it for me. I appreciate all y'all for hanging out, and until the next time, peace.